All right, friends, it's a Fiat. Yeah, even though it's blue, it's actually a Fiat. It's also super windy today, and it's probably not going to be the best for filming a video, but we have to make some progress, so we're going to get started right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rouse the Oliver Man. Everybody in this neighbor saw this in the background and kept asking about it. Did I buy this? Did I buy this? No. This is some kind of New Holland. What is it? TN75DA. And we went and looked at this way back when. Oh, it's been a long time, like over a year ago. And we checked it out and talked to the guy, and he said, I'll bring it sometime and you can fix it. And sometime was about a year that has passed. And now it's sat here for about a month because I just haven't got to it. But we got to get it done. He's called about it several times and been patient, and we got to see what happens. So underneath of this is basically a Fiat, because yeah, Fiat bought Case IH, you know, New Holland, Fiat, Case, all that's tied up together nowadays. And I gotta remember how this works. There, pull that out. Not very ergonomic for a one-handed operation. Come on, come on. Somehow you open. I know you do, because I've had you open before. There we go. Oh, friends, look at how much not fun it's gonna be working on this. It is cram-packed in there. Not pleasant. But basically there are two things that we are supposed to check out. He said there's a fuel leak somewheres, and then he also said there is, well, the main problem we're going to work on is hydraulics, and I suspect that we're going to end up replacing one of the pumps. But if we lived a good clean life, maybe we won't. Maybe we will be able to inspect things and find something. John Bender sent me a link about a year ago when we looked at it the first time, parts of the service book that he thought I needed to do this. And I don't know why I came over here, because all the hydraulic stuff's on the other side. I guess I'm kind of looking for the fuel leak while we're talking. But anyway, looking at that stuff he sent me, inside of some of the places on here, which I'm not seeing exactly what I saw on the thing, but there is, oh, there's the filters. There's like relief valves and stuff. And so I'm wondering, I need to call this guy again and see if he has ever changed the filter, you know, or whatever. Because my plan would be to start with a filter change, a complete filter change, clean out any kind of suction screen that it has, and put clean fluid in, and then try it, because that might be all she takes. The symptoms that he has, because when I drove it over there, it worked great, and it does. When you start out, it works great, and then the more you mess with it, the less hydraulics you get. And so that's what we're going to figure out. Let's see if it'll start. I don't know if it will. I don't know if I'm smart enough he said if it sits a while, you gotta crank because of that fuel leak. So typical Fiat. If it gets air in it, she don't start easy. Well, we ain't having great success, friends. I don't know. We might end up getting the jump pack, because we might end up coasting through this battery pretty good. There we go. All I had to do is threaten it. That's the way it is a lot of times. You just threaten them a little bit, and then they come to life. There we go. So yes, this is basically a Fiat. Observant viewer will be able to look at it and see the similarities between the Fiats we've worked on. Opposing hydraulic pumps. That fuel transfer pump, which is almost identical to the one we just changed. There's our leak. Let's see if we can lose a finger today. Yeah, it's leaking fuel up there pretty good. And we can just get to it so well. I'm wondering if it's the return lines. If it's like the others, it's banjo bolted to the side. Another rattly ting-ting. Okay, loader. Our joystick has a little bit of slop in it. So part of me, boy, it is slow, isn't it? Well, part of me wants to run it a while and see if we see how long before it craps out with that. I just hope it's not leaking so much fuel that we melt it down. But he made it sound like it had been doing that for a while, so perhaps that's not a big deal. Let's do something foolish, you know, let's take it for a drive even though we don't okay, let's see here. This way. I would drive out in the field, but cows, you know. We also need to do some climate control action here because it is warm in here when the sun. All right, I don't know. Made in Italy, yeah. Boy, this is, I kind of like this. This would be a really sweet little rig to feed in the winter time, you know. This little cab like this. Spoiler alert, I might have bought a tractor similar to this, except older. We'll have to see if I make that happen and it shows up here. I wonder if the hydraulics are like if we have to be cycling it to get it to quit working, or whether it's just the time as it heats up naturally and it'll quit working. I don't know. We're gonna go out in the field and drive. Oh, what's that? Maybe that was road gear. Nope, that's road gear. Okay, we got to do something different there. It doesn't like that. Sounds like a spaceship in here, I don't know. Making all kinds of googly noises. Now I would have thought, of course it doesn't matter now because we're where we're gonna go. I drove one of these years ago, but I'm not up on it. I thought that they had a I thought that there was also a high-low electronic power shift. Clock. Headlights only. Was it this? No. That's either forward or reverse shuttle. But I was thinking, maybe there isn't on this. Is it just 4-speed front and back? I find that hard to believe. I would think a tractor this new had some type of like a push button high-low or something. Maybe not. Maybe this is the economy model. That just seems very fast. Can you shuttle it backwards when it starts? Yeah. Ooh, doesn't like that. Okay. The joystick hits that throttle. It's kind of sloppy a little bit, but that means it's been well loved, you know. That's probably the diff lock down there. Oh, here we go. Friends, my fatness is covering it up. There's the range shifter. I was gonna say, that would be odd that it wouldn't have another option. That's super slow. So we were in BH. Uh-oh. What am I doing wrong? B high. Oh, B high and B low. And then C is probably super high. Right? Or was that was B low? Okay, yeah. Wow, it has... Oh, it has super duper slow. Look at that. That's first gear, low range, wide open. 0.0 miles an hour. Of course, that speedometer might not work. So that's range A. This is, come here. This is B high. Still not. So we must have been in C range. Yeah, we were in high range anyway, which would make sense because he drove it here off the road, or drove it here down the road, I should say. Corn should be getting very close. It's starting, the ears are starting to fall. Down on this end, they're more, it looks drier than it does on that other end. So I'll probably pull some ears this weekend and we'll test them and see what we decide. The neighbor shelled his corn and it was planted almost the same day. We were working in this field the day that they planted, because of the video there are two tractors, like my tractor and his tractor, are in the drone footage together. So boy, it's soft out here. That little rain we got the other day, I shouldn't say little, because it really made this a lot softer than it was. It was almost hard as a brick, and now it's not. So once again, if this is not obvious what I'm doing, I want to see the thing happen that is supposedly wrong with it. I want to see the hydraulics slow down, quit working, whatever they do, for myself. I should have had him bring the hay spear, and then I could have been feeding with it every day, and I could have figured it out then. But I think they're kind of slow anyway, but like that seems like it's getting kind of slow, but then the up and down is not. That way is kind of fine. Maybe it's a problem with the valve. Or a problem with a coupler somewhere. Because it seems like the worst one is curl that way. Forward it's very slow. Backwards getting kind of slow. That's maybe a little slower than it was. Of course, I'm not wide open either, but you shouldn't have to be. Steering is unaffected, but that's understandable because it should run off of a different pump. That's the way all the Fiats were. One hydraulic pump was just for steering, and the other hydraulic pump did your remotes. However, on this one, I need to read that service book thing again. I think it said that one pump is high pressure pump, and it's open center, and it does the remotes and lifting, and then the other pump might be closed center. I have to read that again. I was trying to sort that out in my brain. The boom up and down, it works really respectably. Curl in does not work that fast. Wonder how our 3-point hitch is. Let's cycle it a time or two. It raises instantly. Thing I should have asked him, and I have not. It's very obvious I will have to call him because I have much questions. But another thing that I'm wondering is, does it do it year round, or does it get worse in the cold? In which case it may be related to the oil is not very good, and it has water in it and it freezes. Because right now, today, it's a cool day because it's windy, but basically it's not a bad day. I mean, it's boy, now it doesn't hardly go at an idle at all unless you raise it up. So that would be what he was talking about. Let's put it in, oh, shuttle. Let's put it in neutral. Okay, at idle, nothing. You got to raise it up to get it to go. This may also be a John Bender question. It is working. I wonder if it'll ever get to a point where it does nothing. But like here, I'm all the way maxed out on my valve. Nothing's happening. I rev it up. I thought he told me, the guy that owns it, I thought he told me that it would eventually get to where it does nothing. I mean, the bucket curl was slow almost right away after driving it. But it does nothing at an idle. Look at that, it even stops if you'd let off of it, but if you rev it up, it goes. And if that is really an open center pump, that means oil's flowing all the time. And so if it was a filter that's bad or something plugging it in there, that could very much be possible that could be part of our issue, because it's not letting the oil flow like it needs to. But at this point, if it's been starved for oil that much, it might be burned up. In other words, what I'm saying is it might be worth it to replace the pump anyway. Yeah, you let off, it won't. You got to have it about 1,000 RPM for it to move. The bucket curl keeps working, it's just super slow. But that probably doesn't take much effort with nothing hanging on it. Okay, so this gives me some baseline of starting point where now I know that when we're done, if I can do this same thing about the same amount of time, I've drove it for about 20 minutes and it gets to where that the hydraulics, the loader is not working unless you have it revved up. Let's check the 3-point hitch. It's okay, down wouldn't be anything. Let's see if it'll come up at an idle. It comes up just as fast as it did before, but it might be on a different circuit on this one because of the way that it was. I got to read that book again because it has a different how do I want to say, it's got two, like a high pressure pump and I guess a low pressure pump. I don't know. So maybe the low pressure pump failed and it's not supplying the high pressure pump. But I got to read that again and really understand it. He sent me a diagram of the hydraulic system. So now that I've seen what's going on, like I said, at least if we do something, we'll have some way to compare whether we made it better or not. But I'm just wondering if the fluid and filters have ever been really changed. And I'm also wondering, which I'll need to look on the parts film, if this one has a screen in it like the 1365 does and those other ones underneath in the suction line, because if that's plugged up with crap, why, that could cause issues as well. But our steering is never affected, which stands to reason it should be on a different hydraulic pump. And our 3-point hitch doesn't appear to be affected, but it has no weight on it right now, much like the bucket curl has no weight on it, so that may not tell us anything. But the boom lift, I mean, no hydraulics unless you have it 1,000 RPM. That tells us something there. Okay. I don't know what gear we're in again. How are you supposed to, there we go. There's third. You gotta shift it like a manual transmission, I think, to get it into high gear. What? I don't know what that means. What doesn't it like? Did it not like that I didn't put the parking brake on? Is that what that was? That's what it was. Seriously? That's crazy. I'd get tired of that. That would get bypassed. Parking brake warning. Okay. Well, good. I saw what it did, so like I said, we got somewhere to go. So I'm going to have to read that book more. I might reach out to John Bender and see what his thoughts are. And then I will call the guy who owns it and see some of the background of what was done to it. Because if he's already tried something, I would like to know that thing, so that I don't just go down the same rabbit hole of sadness for no reason. So that's what's going to happen. Yeah. I've got somewhere to be, but I've got 20 minutes. And I'm going to see if I've got enough time to put some hay out. It would be nice to do some stuff whilst it was daylight, you see. Sure. It would be real cool if they all stay out where they are, so that I don't have to keep opening and closing this gate. Here lately they've been, I don't know, they want to, the donkeys especially, they want to try to rush out every time I open the gate. When they do it sneakily too, they don't just go for it, they wait till they know I'm halfway through it and not watching, and then they come in behind me and escape. And they go right back in, but it's just the idea of having to fool with it. One day before it gets too frozen this winter, I don't know when it's going to happen, I want to bring Freddie and that land plane out here and try to rake this down, because all their footprints have really made a mess. put some gas in. I brought a bunch along a while ago for the lawnmower and for this. So that's one thing about it. If you feed with it all winter, you will burn through a lot of gas, but it does such a better job because it's lightweight that I don't mind. Giddy up, hay bale. Hopefully being on that pasture slows them down and they don't eat those so fast. They've been going through the full amount in the last couple weeks, and I don't want that. I liked it better when they were going through about a couple bales every 5 days instead of every 3 days. All right, good tractor. 4 minutes. 4 minutes and 42 seconds. I'm bidding on something on the internet and I hope I win, but I found this box. It's at that junkyard that we bought out this spring. They're auctioning off all the stuff inside the buildings, and they have a factory Oliver dealership tool service kit for the 18 and 1900s, and it's got a bunch of specialty tools in it. But the thing it's got that I really want, it's got those lifting eyes. So I don't know, some of those tools I'll probably never use, but or the modern versions I have are probably better, but it's still in its original case with the factory instructions. There's the alarm that I set so that I didn't forget to watch it. But I might have to make one more trip to the junkyard though, is what I'm saying. And then I'll try to take you along and get you some camera footage so you can see how it looks now, because it's just a desolate, empty lot, you know. All right. Done. Some people keep saying they like the farm chores, so I thought I'd throw this in. I don't know that taking hay out's that interesting, but it's something that I gotta do every couple days in the winter time. So yeah, that's done. Oh, somebody, naughty person, somebody just bid against me once and raised my bid. So I had to raise my bid. But I'm determined, people. I've watched it for a month. I'm gonna get it. Anywho's, I guess we'll leave this one here. I've got some homework to do now. Maybe in the next one we'll tackle the fuel leak and figure out what we can do and that. And I will do the appropriate reading to determine where to proceed here. For example, I talked to the guy, I called him a second ago, and he has tried to change the oil and filters once and it made no difference. However, he said he never cleaned out any kind of screen or anything, so we need to double check that and see if somewhere in it there is a screen that you can clean out, because there is potential that if that had trash in it, it might work at first and then keep sucking it up and plugging that up more and more and more until it doesn't go, and then when you shut it off, it just lets it loose and the trash floats out, and then it lets it start working again. But I mean, we're basically wishful thinking. I will do that just to be sure, but I'm very much going into this with the idea that we are going to be putting in a new hydraulic pump in it, because and hopefully not both. I don't know how they're plumbed up on this. That's another thing I need to read up on to decide what course of action to take here. But at any rate, it's a cute little tractor and definitely super handy, and definitely through the winter time he needs it to feed hay, because yeah, if you had this you would use it all the time, you know. So if I had it, I would use it all the time. So definitely we will make progress on this, and hopefully we can find out something soon, and then we can get parts ordered and coming. I have parts for that 175 Alice, so we can do that one next. And then as soon as we get that one done, we can do that 200. And then after that, I'm gonna try to be doing my own stuff. Well, I gotta finish that 550 whenever I get the injection pump back. But that's where we are. I mean, I'm gonna turn away some jobs if people call. I might do a few little ones, but I got stuff of mine I want to work on this winter as well. I don't want to just be doing stuff for everyone else. I don't mind helping people out and making an extra buck here and there, because I can take that money and reinvest in more toys and stuff for myself. But there is some point when I need to have a little bit of relaxation by working on my stuff that I want to play with, you know, like this. I haven't played with this since spring. It's just been sitting here with a bucket over it, and that's a shame. We need to get that rigged up so we could do something with it, whether it be pull a wagon or whatever. So yeah, lots of projects going on, but I don't know, too bad there's not more time in a day, but we're gonna try to make it happen. So until next time, we're gonna leave this one here. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.